Hare Krishna, Namaste, Chapter 17, which is entitled as Shraddha-traya vibhāga yoga, the three types of faith. Sloka 10, Part 6. Yāta-yāmaṁ gata-rasaṁ pūti paryuṣitaṁ ca yat ucchiṣṭam api cāmedhyaṁ bhojanaṁ tāmasa-priyam. Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food that is tasteless, decomposed and putrid, and food consisting of remnants and untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of darkness. In the previous session, we learnt the remnants, the leftover foods, are desired by the people who are in mode of ignorance, tamoguna. But also we learned those food, the remnants of great Bhagavatas, great devotees, are transcendental, which should be consumed without any hesitation. Out of 6 that's been mentioned here in the sloka, the last one is cāmedhyaṁ, which means that which is unfit to be consumed. This term cāmedhyaṁ is also used in the sense of being an enemy of intelligence. That means food which stops and prevents mode of goodness, the sattvic intelligence. Such food which stops one to cultivate mode of goodness is very dear to tamasic people. And that's what cāmedhyaṁ means. One may wrongly think that let me enjoy whatever I want to eat. It's going to affect my consciousness in this very life. From my next life that I'm going to be born, I will be more sattvic. But the problem is, these food, tamasic food one consumes, the reaction is just not this lifetime. It goes beyond this lifetime. As we already saw earlier, that what we eat influences our mind and the senses, and these mind and senses are carried to the next destination. So we are going to have influence of what we eat now, not only this lifetime, also the future life that we may be taking. Also, cāmedhyaṁ, interpreted as yajna, the sacrifice. We should not consume whatever is unfit for use as offering to Krishna. In other words, that which is not fit to be offered in the sacrifice should not be consumed. We learned that in the 3rd chapter, 13th sloka as well. The food which is not offered to Krishna should not be consumed. And that food which you are offering to Krishna must be pleasing to Krishna. It should be as per the scriptures. We should not offer anything and everything that we like to Krishna and call that as offered food. There could be items which are sattvic, but if it is not offered to Krishna, then that also becomes unfit, cāmedhyaṁ. Just because I have a banana, which is certainly fruit, and it is sattvic, but if it is not offered to Krishna, then that banana becomes unfit to be consumed. That is what's been conveyed here by the term cāmedhyaṁ. Certain food that becomes unfit to be consumed are the food that has fallen from one's mouth, should not be put back into the mouth again. Food that are seen by immoral people should not be consumed. Foods that are burnt should be avoided. Food which are touched by cloth or contaminated by one's saliva or sneeze, nails, hair should not be consumed. Food seen or touched by dogs are considered contaminated. Food grains that are cooked on ekadeshis becomes unfit to consume. Food smelt by animals and even people should not be eaten. Sometimes people who cook has an habit of smelling what's been cooked, or even others around, they come and smell the food. Such food cannot be consumed. Food touched by people who are sick should be avoided. Food that are not offered with kindness should be rejected. As one serves, it has to have love and affection. Food contacted by fly, worm should be avoided. Foods touched by the mouth of people, rats, chicken, crow, and cat should not be consumed. A portion of food which is set aside and the remaining is given out to others should not be accepted. Food that are earned in immoral ways should not be consumed. Food cooked by unclean children or adults for that matter should not be consumed. Food that are unrecognizable, something new, should be avoided. Food that are not palatable, not pleasing to the mind, should not be eaten. Food that harms our prana and indriyas should be totally avoided. It is also said one should not eat under the moonlight or fire. One should not eat food alone but with group of devotees. One should not drink water which has bubble and foams. One should not eat with their left hand. One must take shower before eating. Food that are heated multiple times or even 2 times should be avoided. Food prepared in someone else's house should be avoided. People gather and each one bring an item and eat together is not recommended if it is not prasadam that is offered to Krishna. One should not eat that food which was meant for someone or someone else wants it. Or one should not eat those food which has been rejected by someone. Of course, the most important point is one should not eat anything which is not offered to Krishna. Sometimes we see some people have habit of licking their tongue to turn the pages of a book which is considered very unclean. With the same hand, they perform other activities. We also see similar behavior in many cooking classes, especially that we can see in the internet media. The cook puts a lot of effort to teach how to cook a particular item. Right after cooking, they put their finger and lick it to show their audience how tasty what they cooked. And with the same finger, they try to hold the spoons, they try to serve, etc. The people who are serving should be very careful and very clean. They can't serve with the hand which are not washed. If they've scratched their body parts, they should immediately wash before they can continue serving. They should minimize or avoid talking while serving. The water glass should be kept to the right side of the plate, and one should not have some extra salt on the plate. While eating, if a person is sitting on the floor, he should not be placing his other hand on the floor. Rather, that unused hand should be kept or rested on one's thigh. Before eating, one should wash their mouth, hands and feet, and they should sit as the feet are wet. Likewise, one should wash their mouth, hands and feet after finishing their meal. Another additional point, one should not go to bed in the night keeping their feet wet. One should totally avoid consuming caffeine, alcohol, garlic, onion, mushroom, white brinjal, red drumstick, lotus root. The list continues. We'll stop here. Whereas sugarcane juice, yogurt, milk, ghee, pepper, honey, cardamom can be taken without hesitation. When it comes to water, we had already mentioned water from previous day, except the water from holy river should not be used. One should not drink heated coconut water. One should not gather water from ditch. One should not drink water where the washermen work. Water contaminated by saliva should not be taken. Water from conch should not be consumed. Rainwater that has not fallen on the ground should not be consumed. As this can go on, let's summarize what we have learned from this sloka. When cooked grains or vegetables are stale, they dry out and become hard, and they start ferment, which starts giving unpleasant smell. This includes many food and drinks. This makes a person become dull in his consciousness, which increases ignorance, laziness, sleep, confusion and madness. If someone is already in tamoguna, eating such food is simply going to aggravate and increase his tamoguna, causing one to perform violence and destructive behaviors. Such people who are interested towards such food will be facing more sorrow, suffering and sickness, even greater than those who are in rajoguna. So the idea behind spending so much time on this food topic is so that we understand the value of what we are eating. With proper intelligence, we accept those food which is going to help us to increase our intelligence, our interest towards spirituality, towards Krishna consciousness, and completely and totally avoid food that increases rajoguna and tamoguna. So let's not only be a vegetarian, let's be a devotee by eating food that is accepted by the Shastra, which is offered to Krishna. We will just end this subject with one short story from Ramayana. Lord Rama was waiting patiently for Sugriva to return back and help in finding Mother Sita, but Sugriva was not coming back. Rather, he was so intoxicated in his new position with his wives and other things. Rama told Lakshmana to go and remind Sugriva about his promise. And Lakshmana, when he went, Tara, who's wife of Sugriva, who is also very wise, she welcomed Lakshmana and offered him varieties of fruits and berries. Important thing to note here, even the Vanara is offering something to the guest who comes home. So let's learn something here. So when Lakshmana was offered a plate of fruits, Lakshmana simply refused to accept it, stating that which are not remnants of Lord Rama are considered to be untouchable, cāmedhyaṁ. It is dog's food, not mine. So let's understand the importance of eating only food that is offered to Krishna with love and affection. And this is the easiest way for one to purify one's mind. When one's mind is purified, when it's full of sattva guna, the consciousness that travels out from the Atma will associate with a mind that is of sattva guna, by which it generates the ruchi, which will also be of sattva guna, and that leads one into the action with faith that will be also of sattva guna. So the food that we eat, it's a matter that grows our body, and the subtle element within that matter, the food, develops our mind. If the ahara, if the food that we consume is of sattva, then our body becomes healthier, will also be in sattva. We will have long life, strength, happiness, and perform pleasant acts. That subtle element which impacts our mind, manasa, will grow in sattva guna. Our mind becomes clear. We develop good intelligence and we engage in good activities. It helps us in elevating ourselves spiritually. Whereas if the food is rajasic or tamasic, it develops sleep, sadness, disease, lust, anger, and makes us want to further get deep rooted into the samsara, into this material existence. Therefore, those who really care for themselves, for the sake of one's own atma, its welfare, one should sincerely aspire to develop sattva guna by honoring food that is offered to Krishna. That which is not offered to Krishna should be completely rejected. There could be a possible question that may be raised at this point. We had mentioned that ucchiṣṭam, the remnants, the leftover, should not be eaten, but the exception was given to one's father, one's older brother, guru, and one's husband. There is no mention of Krishna in that list. So, can we eat the leftover remnants of Krishna? If yes, for whatever the reason, can we also eat the food that's offered to the devatas? Let's learn the answer for these questions in our next session. Namaste. Hare Krishna.